Continuing on with our series today. How y'all doing? Continuing on with our series today. This one, I'm planning. I know we always talk about having a plan, but what does it actually look like? How do you actually develop a plan? Do people usually tell young people how to develop a plan, or do they just go out there and tell them to get one, you know? But I got y'all. And we're going to start financially. So, before we ever go into budgeting, you got to write out your expenses. And expenses look like, especially if you're living on your own, housing. So that means how much you're paying for rent every month. Housing, food, gas, bills. Everything else is extra, but those are the things that you have to cover. You gotta cover rent. You gotta cover how much you're gonna spend on groceries. You gotta cover how much gas is gonna cost. And you gotta factor in other bills. If you got, water, electric, cable, if you pay cable or internet bill, phone bill, all of that. Gotta factor out bills. Now, I know people include entertainment, all of that in there, but this is mainly for those young people that are just getting started and trying to find their footing. And honestly, I don't think you should be factoring out money like that when you're first getting started for things like entertainment and going out and all of that. That's extra. Whatever you have left over, that's what you can use that on. And most of the time, you need to be doing stuff that's free. Okay? So, that's that. I recommend a zero budget. That's how I learned budgeting from my mom. And that's how my mom did her budget. That's how I do my budget. I think it is the most effective budget type. And basically what zero budgeting is, you take everything that you have and you work your way down dollar by dollar until you have assigned every dollar what I like to call a quote-unquote role to play. Every dollar needs a purpose. There's a certain amount of the money that needs to go towards housing, a certain amount that needs to go towards food, gas, Whatever is left, you factor it out from there. Determine what needs to be in savings and determine which savings it's in. Most people don't talk about that. You need multiple different versions of quote-unquote savings. You need an emergency fund savings. That's savings that you actually can touch, in times of an emergency. I don't know what to call the other. I usually just call it general savings. So that's just money that you're putting up, not necessarily for major emergencies, but for rainy days. Where it's like, okay, this is the money I have pulled up. So when I do want to go out per se, I can actually touch this. When I want to go over on my food budget, I can actually touch this. When I need to put a little more extra gas in, I can actually touch this. When I don't need that much more for rent and I don't want to tap into my emergency savings, I can actually touch this. That's what that savings is for. It's general savings. I also think that you need to have money put into investments. But the reason I'm not going to put that necessarily in here is because I feel like that's an entire other topic, because it's not wise to make any investments without doing some research and learning how and what you should be looking for, at least on the surface level. I wouldn't recommend anybody go in blind at all, but you are going to need to work towards that. But before that, emergency savings, general savings, then working towards investment. You can factor out your general savings if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends. But at bare minimum, its role is for general savings. At bare minimum, zero budget. Every dollar needs a role. Financials out of the way. I think in terms of living your life day to day, you need to create a schedule for yourself. I literally have an Excel spreadsheet that I set up like my counselor set up my school schedule when I was in college. Like, I literally have it color coded and the time codes and the days. And I'm so serious, guys. You need to create a schedule for yourself. I feel like especially young person, just because you're out of school doesn't mean that you're not a lifelong learner. You should be learning things in your free time. I personally go to work at 3 o'clock. So when I get up in the morning, I have dedicated hours to quote unquote subjects that I dedicate my time towards learning. You need to schedule your day out like that. You need to schedule out blocks of time in between your learning and your working periods, whether it be personal work or physical work or job work. Schedule out blocks of time in which you can decompress and you can do what you want to do. There's like a 2-hour block, like right before I go to work every day. My bad, I dropped my pen. But there's like a 2-hour block before I go to work every day. I just chill. That's when I eat. If I want to play the game, I play the game. I need to take a shower, I take a shower. Most of the time, that's where sometimes I just chill. Sometimes it's just chilling. It's just decompressing. You got to give yourself that kind of time during the day. I put that in my notes. Include rest and factor in your tendencies. I low-key think I have ADHD because my brain goes from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And if I don't give myself time in between to zero out, I'm going to burn, And they even do that in college. Like, most of the time, it's very rare that you have people day after day after day. They're going from class. There's blocks of time in between. You need that. That's very important. Very important that you have blocks of time in between. You have enough stress, bro. Don't kill yourself. You know what I mean? Don't kill yourself. Like, yes, learn. Yes, work. Yes, be fruitful. Use your days. Because you've been blessed with a day every time you open your eyes. You got a whole nother one. So use it. But also make sure you understand that it's okay sometimes to not be all over the place. Not be going. Very important that you get your rest, but you do need to create a schedule based off you. Create yourself a schedule. Be kind to yourself, but be strict with yourself. I'm up 8:30 on days that I don't do it. I have to spend some of my leisure time redoing the stuff that I do. For example, Mondays, 8:30 I wake up. 9:30, quote unquote, theological studies. I just watch a sermon. That goes till 10:30. I got a block in time. 10:30 to 11:15. 11:15, financial studies till 12:15. 12:15 till most of the time I go to work at 3 o'clock. Open block. Go to work, 3 o'clock. Get off work at 8:30. About 9:30, 9:45 is where I got it slotted. I do social media management studies. Then from there, I'm chilling. Tuesdays, wake up, 8:30, 9:30, theological studies. Now this time, from 11 till 12:1, that's when I'm working on videos. That's when I'm doing this. If I don't do it then, I come home and I do it at night. You see what I'm saying? You see the schedule? I'm kind to myself. I got blocks of time. It's not do or die. But I make sure I get on my ass when I'm not keeping my time. Because I have a block of time scheduled for it for a reason. Why am I using my other blocks of time for stuff that I should have did 3 hours earlier? You know what I'm saying? Strict. You're enforcing it, but you're kind to yourself. Being a human, being a young human at that, you won't want to do what you need to do sometimes. That's where the discipline comes in. And the last thing that I had here is plan as far as you can see. And that's going to change over time. Sometimes you can plan. When I first got down here, I said, yeah, we're going to be straight by the summer. I could see that far. I wrote it down. And we made it a reality. But there were times I could only see a week ahead. There were times I could see my month planned out. And for the most part, it went as I thought it would. But there were times for real, months at a time, where it's like I can really only see hour to hour. Not even day to day. I can really only see hour to hour. And I had to tell myself to accept that. Where it's like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow for lunch. But you know what? I'll get up. I'll DoorDash. I'll see what I can get. Hey, I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner. I'll skip lunch. I'll DoorDash when I get off. I'll get something. Put gas in the car. And that'll probably be all I can get until I can get there tomorrow. But now that I got gas in the car, tomorrow I can probably get enough for 2 days. We'll handle that when we get there, though. Hey, I don't know how I'm going to get to work. Get some money from somebody. Pay you back at the end of the week. Luckily enough, I had a support system that could afford me those kind of luxuries. Made it work. Day to day. Hour to hour. So my plans changed. Sometimes my plans were for the day. Sometimes my plans were, okay, bro, this is what I'm going to do in my morning until you get off. Sometimes it was for, this is what we're going to do for the week. This is what we're going to do for the month. This is what we're going to do for the next few months. But I could only go as far as I could see. And I had to take comfort in that. I had to know that I was still planning, though. At every turn, no matter how grim it looked, I always had some kind of plan, but I only planned as far as I could see. As far as I knew I could make it at that time. As far as was feasible in what I currently had to make it, that's how far I planned. And that's absolutely perfect. Don't try to go a month when you don't know what you're going to eat tomorrow. Don't even stress yourself out doing that. And I don't care who it is. It could be your own mama. Don't let nobody tell you that there's anything wrong with that. You get through how you need to get through. Expect the unexpected when you can plan far enough ahead, though. Because things come up, cars mess up. You got an extra fee from your rent that you got to pay. Sometimes you got to borrow money and you might have to kick out an extra 50 that you didn't see coming 2 weeks ago. Why not plan it so that you don't have to borrow money at all? Sometimes you might need clothes spur of the moment. Something might come up. You might have a job interview. You need something to wear. All you got in your closet is shorts. You never know. Hey, I'm only saying this because it actually happened. Somebody close to you might pass. You need a suit. At least a shirt and some pants. That really happened. You might take your clothes to the laundromat one day. Somebody run off to your with your clothes. That really happened to me. Work clothes gone. Had to find out what to do the next day. Luckily, I had the money. But you got to expect that type of stuff. You never know. What if you at work and your work clothes get ruined? You need some new work pants. Need some new work shoes. Because your shoes bust open. What if your phone mess up one day? You be at work listening to a podcast. Next thing you know, you can't even use your phone. This the type shit really going on in my life. This the type shit was really going on when I was trying to make it through. But this is why I'm letting y'all know. You gotta expect this type of stuff. This real life. That's why I say plan as far as you can see, because there are going to be times where you catch a break and you can see a month ahead and you need to be able to plan accordingly. Some days it's shit, catching a break might be, I've been going for, you know what I mean? Like a day to day, and I finally can see a week ahead. I need to be able to plan for that. I don't gotta stress about how I'm gonna put gas in today, so I need to plan for that. You know? That's how it go, man. That's all I had to say. I'm liking this series. I'm liking what I'm doing with the pod from here on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking this is something that could really help. I'm thinking this is something that really might touch some souls out there. So if y'all rocking with it, make sure, y'all share me around. Check out some of the clips on YouTube. And we'll keep rocking every week. Appreciate y'all for coming out. I'll catch y'all. Peace.